Hi students, today we are going to read A Fine, Fine School together. This is the first story out of our Journeys textbook, and first I'm going to go over the vocabulary on page 10. So remember, your Journeys textbook looks like this, and you can find the vocabulary on page 10. We will do more work with the vocabulary tomorrow, but I wanted to go over it today as well. So number 1 is principal. A principal who gets to know the students will be a better leader. A principal is someone like Mrs. Boone. They are somebody who is in charge of a school building and makes a lot of important decisions and makes sure that the teachers and the students are safe. The second vocabulary word is sword. Colorful kites soared high in the sky at the school's cultural fair. So it's basically, I'm going to turn this around just so you can see. So on number 2 here, and soared means that something is flying high in the sky. Number 3, strolled. Students and their families strolled for miles to raise money for charity. Strolled means that you're just walking at a nice, normal pace. Okay, you're not walking super fast, but you're also not walking super slow like a turtle. Okay, you're just walking normally. Number 4, worried. This boy is worried. He is afraid rain will ruin the class field trip. Oh, he looks so worried there. You see it right here. Okay. So worried means that you might be stressed out about something, you might be nervous about something, that something bad might happen. So this boy is afraid that he won't be able to go on the field trip because of the rain. Number 5, proud. These young actors feel proud of their terrific performance in a school play. Proud means that you are just very happy about something that you have accomplished. So if you have ever gotten a good grade on a school assignment, you might have been very proud. Or another example of feeling very proud is if you and your team win a tournament, maybe in soccer or basketball. Okay. Next one, announced. Each day, a different student announced school news over a loudspeaker. Announced is like when we have our morning announcements. Okay, Mrs. Boone will get on the speaker and she will tell us, we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance, and she'll tell us all of the things that we are going to do that day and all of our goals. 7, fine. The sun shines and the air is clear. It is a fine day for the schoolyard sale. Fine means that something is good. Okay, so sometimes you might say, hi, how are you? To a friend, and they might say, I'm fine. That means they're pretty good. Okay? Certainly is number 8. We certainly should turn off the lights when not using them. This surely saves energy. Certainly means that it surely does something. So if we turn off the lights, we are definitely going to save power. Certainly just means that something is sure to happen. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and read A Fine, Fine School. I'm on page 13 in our Journeys textbook. I would absolutely love if you would follow along with me. And we're going to preview the topic just like we would in class. So it says the topic is education this week. In the United States, children go to school 5 days a week for most of the year. On Saturdays and Sundays, children stay home to play, do chores, and spend time with their families. The weekends also can be a time for learning outside of school. Right now, you're learning outside of school all of the time. Hopefully, we can go back to being in person together, but right now, you're doing lots and lots of learning outside of school. In A Fine, Fine School, you'll read about a school that begins to do things a little bit differently. You'll find out how the students feel about it. You may even wonder how you would feel if you went to this fine, fine school. Let's turn the page on page 15. And now we are reading A Fine, Fine School. Oops. Yikes. Sorry about that. There it is. Okay. All right, now I'm starting and I'm on page 17, so please follow along. Mr. Keene was a principal who loved his school. Every morning, he strolled down the hallway and saw the children in their classes. He saw them learning shapes and colors and numbers and letters. He saw them reading and writing and drawing and painting. He saw them making dinosaurs and forts and pyramids. "Oh," he would say, "aren't these fine children? Aren't these fine teachers? Isn't this a fine, fine school?" Now, I'm not going to show you the pictures because I want you to follow along, okay? Now, remember, fine is one of our vocabulary words. All of the vocabulary words will be highlighted in yellow on this page and throughout the whole story. Fine means that something is good, okay? So he's saying, oh, look at these really good, wonderful teachers and children, and look at this fine, fine, wonderful school. Next page. Near Mr. Keen's school, Tilly lived with her parents and her brother and her dog Beans in a small house next to a tree. On Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, Tilly went to school. At school, Tilly learned her shapes and colors and numbers and letters. Sometimes when she saw Mr. Keen standing in the hallway, he waved. "Aren't these fine children?" he said to himself. "Aren't these fine teachers? Isn't this a fine, fine school?" On the weekends, Saturday and Sunday, Tilly climbed her favorite tree and she took Beans on walks and threw him sticks. And she pushed her brother on a swing and tried to teach him how to skip. But on Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and Fridays, Tilly went off to school. Beans and her brother did not like to see her go. "Hurry, hurry, hurry home," her brother called. Maybe some of you can relate to that. Maybe on the first day of school, or any time you go to school, maybe a brother or sister is sad to see you go. One day, Mr. Keen called all the students and teachers together and said, "This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on Saturdays too." The teachers and students did not want to go to school on Saturdays, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keen that. He was so proud of all of the children and the teachers, of all of the learning they were doing every day. And so, that Saturday, Tilly set off for school. "But it's Saturday! What about the swings?" her brother called. Oh my goodness, I want you to think for a second about if you had to do school on Saturday. Would we be happy? Would you be upset? Would you be sad? Would you be angry? I would not feel very happy if I had to do school on Saturday because Saturdays and Sundays are days for relaxing. But it sounds like Mr. Keen is just so proud of his school. So he wants to have school on Saturdays. Now, I think Milliken is a fine school too, but I would not want to have school on Saturdays. What are you thinking? Next page. The following month, Mr. Keen announced, "This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school on Saturdays and Sundays too." Oh my goodness. The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Sundays, but no one knew how to tell Mr. Keen that. He was so proud of the children and the teachers, of all the learning they were doing every day. And so, that Sunday, Tilly set off for school. "But it's Sunday! What about the skipping?" her brother called. Aw. Wow, so now they have to go to school every day of the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Oh my gosh, 7 days a week of school all the time. How would you feel about that? I think I would be feeling very stressed out. And I would feel pretty tired, I think, because I would have no day to sleep in and get extra sleep. I wonder what he's going to do next. Next page, on page 22 now. Hopefully you're following along. The following month, Mr. Keen called everyone together again. He said, "This is such a fine, fine school. I love this school. Let's have more school. From now on, let's have school in the summer too. All summer long, every single day." "How much we will learn," he said. "We can learn everything. We can learn all about numbers and letters, colors and shapes, the Romans and the Egyptians and the Greeks. We will learn about dinosaurs and castles and everything. We will learn everything." Oh my goodness. The teachers and the students did not want to go to school on Saturdays and Sundays and holidays and all summer long and every single day. But no one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that. Oh no. No one knew how to tell Mr. Keene that, sorry. He was so proud of the children and the teachers, all the learning they were doing every day. And so on the first day of summer, Tilly set off for school. But it's summer, her brother called. What about summer? Wow. Oh, her poor brother. I wonder if Tilly enjoys going to school. I don't think she did. I don't think she wants to go to school anymore on the summer and the weekends. Yikes. So pretty much they're not getting any breaks ever from school all year round. Wow. How would that make you feel? Take a moment and think about that. That would really not make me feel very happy. We need breaks from school, don't we? And that day, Tilly went to see Mr. Keene. She stood in his office in front of his desk. What a fine, fine school this is, Mr. Keene said. What amazing things everyone is learning. Yes, Tilly said, we certainly are learning some amazing things. A fine, fine school, Mr. Keene said, but, Tilly said, not everyone is learning. What? Mr. Keene said. He looked very worried. Who? Who isn't learning? Tell me and I will see that they learn. My dog Beans hasn't learned how to sit, Tilly said, and he hasn't learned how to jump over the creek. Oh, Mr. Keene said, and my little brother hasn't learned how to swing or skip. Oh, Mr. Keene said, and I, she said, but you go to school, Mr. Keene said, to our fine, fine school. True, Tilly said, but I haven't learned how to climb very high in my tree, and I haven't learned how to sit in my tree for a whole hour. Oh, Mr. Keene said. Wow, so Tilly is telling Mr. Keene all of these things that she learns outside of school and that her brother and her dog can learn outside of school, but she hasn't been able to do those things because all she's ever doing is school. What kinds of things do we learn outside of school? I want you to be thinking about that. Next page, on page 26. That day, Mr. Keene walked up and down the halls, looking at the children and the teachers. Up and down he walked. Up and down, up and down. Wow, how do these illustrations tell you about how the characters feel? Hopefully you're looking at your journeys book, okay? Just like you'd be doing in class. So, I see a boy brushing his teeth because he probably doesn't have time to do it any other time because he's always at school besides nighttime. I see students looking very stressed out and very worried. They don't look happy. They just look kind of sad. Maybe having school all the time is not such a good idea after all. The next morning, Mr. Keene called everyone together. The children and the teachers were very worried. Why do you think they were worried? I think they were worried that he's going to say, even more school. Hopefully he doesn't say that. Mr. Keene said, this is a fine, fine school with fine, fine children and fine, fine teachers. But not everyone is learning. The children and teachers were very, very worried. Mr. Keene said, there are dogs who need to learn how to sit and how to jump creeks. What did he mean? Was he going to make their dogs come to school? Which might be kind of fun. There are little brothers and sisters who need to learn how to swing and how to skip. What did he mean? Was he going to make their younger brothers and sisters come to school too? The children and teachers were very, very worried. And you, all of you, children and teachers, you need to learn how to climb a tree and sit in it for a whole hour, Mr. Keene said. And the children and the teachers were very worried. So from now on, we will not have school on Saturdays or Sundays or in the summer. A huge, enormous, roaring cheer soared up to the ceiling and floated out the window so that everyone in the town heard the fine, fine children and the fine, fine teachers shout, "Fine, fine, fine!" Oh, they look so happy in those illustrations on those pages. They look so relieved, right? Oh my goodness. Next page. Oh, they look so happy. I would be so happy too if I were them. And the fine, fine children and the fine, fine teachers lifted Mr. Keene up and they carried him down the hallway and out the doors, through the town, up and down, in and out. And everywhere they went, the people said, "What a fine, fine school! With fine, fine teachers and a fine, fine children and a fine, fine principal." Oh, what a good story. That is one of my favorite stories, and we start the year off with it, and that just makes me so happy. I wish you were here to discuss it with me. However, we will be doing a writing assignment later this week, telling about the important things that we learn outside of school. So just be thinking about those important things that you learn outside of school, and I will definitely be talking with you tomorrow about this story. So I hope you enjoyed the story. You can always go back and listen to me read it again if you think that you need a little quick refresher. Sometimes we need to read stories twice. You could even read the story alone by yourself too. So I hope you enjoyed listening to the story today, and I will see you all next time. Bye.